What's going on, everybody? It's Tori. Welcome back to another video. It's been a while since I've done a video. It's been over a month. It honestly feels weird to be talking to a camera without having a live audience. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying the live streams, but I gotta get back to a video, man. It's been so long. So I'm gonna get to it with this mailbag. I want to do a Pulse episode soon and maybe a couple other things. I don't know. There will be more video stuff in the off season. Obviously we won't have post-game live streams, so it'll be less of that. It'll be more videos. But before we jump into your guys' questions from the past week, I got a couple things to get into. And don't skip forward. Don't you dare skip forward. Don't touch that thing. First thing we gotta get out of the way, we got merch. We got a Dame's Historic Run poster, we got t-shirts, we got a hoodie, we got a water bottle. I've put a lot of work into getting this merch out. I really hope you guys like it. It would mean the world to me right now if you went and bought a piece of merch. It would just be cool to see people representing the channel with some Blazers Uprise gear. We'll be playing some pickup games in the spring, you know. It'd be cool to see some people out there rocking some of this stuff. And honestly, it'll help support me. It'll help support the channel. I tried to keep prices low. I tried to keep the designs clean, aesthetically pleasing. The sweatshirts are soft. I'm speaking from experience with this one. So yeah, go check it out. There's a link in the description below. You can pause this video. I'll allow you to pause it and click that link in the description. Now obviously I'm kidding. You can do whatever you want, but gotta give a shout out to Benjamin. He was the first person to buy a piece of brand new merch. So huge shout out to Benjamin. I'll shout you guys out in videos if you want, if you buy them. Second thing I want to get out of the way, this is for Blazer home games. If you want tickets, check out SeatGeek. My promo code Blazers Uprise, no space. That'll save you 20 bucks on your first SeatGeek purchase. I know ticket prices are pretty low right now. That is the silver lining in a struggling season, is you can get a great deal on tickets to a game. And then if you combine that with the promo code, that'll save you 20 bucks. Then you'll find a phenomenal deal on tickets. You could probably sit in the lower bowl, maybe lower 200, upper 100 level section for maybe 20 bucks, maybe 15 bucks a seat for a really good price. So definitely consider using that discount code and consider using SeatGeek. So anyway, let's jump into the questions you guys had for me. There aren't a ton of questions, so make sure you leave me one down below. Umeza says, Gary Trent Jr. has been playing great. What do you think his ceiling is? What's a good player comparison? And my player comparison for him is Wesley Matthews, and I wouldn't have made that comparison before this season because I didn't think Gary Trent Jr. was a good defender, but he's really worked on his defense. This past offseason, apparently he watched a lot of film on his defense, and now it's showing out there on the court. He's been a phenomenal defender, and he's been terrific on that end of the court. He has been the most improved Blazer in terms of his defense. So he's starting to remind me a bit of Wesley Matthews. Of course, Wesley Matthews had a father that played in the NBA. So did Gary Trent Jr. Wesley Matthews had a certain spark, a certain energy, a certain vibe about him that I also get from Gary Trent Jr. Wesley Matthews was a guy who could knock down three-point shots. Of course, that is Gary Trent Jr.'s thing as well. They're both defenders. Even their shooting form looks similar. And shoot, one more comparison, we're starting to see Gary Trent Jr. work out of the low post a little bit, bully smaller guards and get buckets down there. That's something that Wesley Matthews was known to do in a Blazer uniform. So I think Wesley Matthews is a great comparison for Gary Trent Jr. I think his ceiling is probably something around a prime Wesley Matthews, which was a 16-point per game scorer, elite 3-and-D option. That would be terrific considering Gary Trent Jr. was the 37th pick in the draft a couple years ago, so getting that type of value at a second-round pick, I'll take it. Eric Kleiser says, can you go over a list of the free agents who could potentially take our whole mid-level exception and which fit our needs the most? You just gave me another video idea. See, I was talking about how I want to get out more videos in this intro. That is a really good video idea. I could name it 10 targets that the Portland Trail Blazers could go after this summer. 10 free agent mid-level exception target. I don't know. I'll figure out the title. But since you just gave me a whole video idea, obviously I'm not going to answer that question here. I'll just answer it in that video. Dame Dollar says, do you honestly think Dame and CJ can win a championship together, or do we need a Drew Holiday type shooting guard who doesn't need the ball and plays great defense? I think Dame and CJ can win a championship together. I just think they need the pieces to complement them. I think they need elite 3-and-D forwards that can do a little bit with the ball. They need Nurkic to return and get back to his old form and play like the borderline all-star that he was before his injury. I mean, you look at what Bam Adebayo is doing for the Heat this year. That team has been phenomenal. Bam became an all-star. I think Jusuf Nurkic is a similar type of player and can have a similar level impact that Bam has had. Obviously, our defense needs to be much, much better than it is now, but that's why I'm talking about elite 3 and D forwards. Hopefully better defenders off the bench as well. Hopefully just better overall players off the bench so we don't have to play Dame 37 minutes in a game, which kind of zaps his energy and makes him worse on the defensive end. You know, hopefully Dame doesn't have to carry the offense as much so he has more energy for the defensive end. It's basically just a complex puzzle, and the Blazers just need the right amounts of certain ingredients in order to get this team to the level of contention. It's not like we have LeBron James and Anthony Davis and we're just going to automatically contend. You know what I mean? We're pretty stuck with this roster as it is, so we need to find players that complement Dame, CJ, and Nurkic. A healthy Otto Porter Jr., a Robert Covington type of player. Who knows if Otto Porter Jr. will be available this summer? Who knows if we can even get him? I don't think Robert Covington will be available because he just got traded to the Rockets. We'll come up with some new trade targets this summer, but we just need to find the right combination of players. And if we do that, then I think that Dame and CJ can lead this team to a championship. Ahmad Kapali says, looking a bit ahead now, but what do you think are some of our biggest goals this offseason, and what would you like to see happen? This is a very tough question because I don't think we set ourselves up well for the offseason. We're put in a position where it doesn't make sense to let go of Ariza. We should bring him back for $12.8 million next year. We're put in a position where if we lost Whiteside, it would be the loss of an asset unless it was in a sign-and trade, which is unlikely. And then we have our first-round pick and our mid-level exception. Those are kind of the 4 factors this offseason. Yes, Melo will be a factor, but I don't think he should really be getting minutes next season. I can go into that on another video or a podcast or something. But what would I like to see? I'm not sure. It's hard to figure out what is realistically possible. We don't even know if our pick is going to be in the lottery or not. So I'm going to refrain from really trying to go in depth on that question because I could take 20 minutes answering that question. That is something for a podcast segment where me and Eric can just dive deep into that. I know I do a lot of live streaming and barely any videos. That's just a hard question for me to answer right now. Abe Bomi says, do you think Dame has any shot at MVP if he keeps playing like he has been recently? Or if not this year, do you think he could be in the next couple years with hopefully a much better team around him? I feel like he's already an MVP level player the way he's playing, but what do you think? I mean, he's putting up MVP numbers right now, almost 30 points per game and 8 assists per game. That is MVP level numbers. He's doing it efficiently too. His true shooting percentage is over 60%. Obviously, he's hurt right now, and he's playing for a team that's the 9th seed in the West, maybe 10th. I don't know where exactly they are, but he's not going to win MVP this year solely because this team is so bad. If this team was like 3rd or 2nd, then he would be in the running with a realistic shot at winning MVP, but this team is just not good enough. I think the only player that's won MVP that was on a team seeded 4th or worst in their conference was Russell Westbrook when he got a triple-double. I might be wrong on that. It might be 5th or worst. I don't know. But normally you have to be a top 4 team in order to win MVP. So in the next couple years, if Dame can put up these stats and lead a team to another top 3 seed, top 4 seed, then I definitely think he has a realistic chance at winning MVP. It's going to be tough because you got guys like Giannis putting up insane numbers. You got James Harden averaging 35, 34 points per game. Who knows if he'll keep it up at that level. Then you also have Steph coming back, and they don't have KD anymore, so Steph's numbers I expect to go back up to what he was averaging when he was winning MVPs. Of course, in the past, he was a unanimous MVP, the only player to ever do that. So it's definitely going to be tough, but I do think he has a chance in future years, just not this year. Back with another question from Eric Kleiser. He says, do you see Dame making the Olympic team this summer and the ramifications it could have, especially seeing his high minutes down the stretch? Seems like he would have a good shot at the team, given he is a borderline all-NBA first-team player, respected by the players, in parentheses, picked first by LeBron among the reserves, and his star power. Thoughts? I don't think him playing would really take a toll on his body. You know, Team USA plays a lot of players. They're in a lot of blowouts, and they don't play a ton of games, and it's in August. He'll kind of be fresh by then, so I'm not worried about it taking a toll on him. It's not something like Batum playing for France where they play games like before the Olympics, and then they play in the Olympics, and they're not blowing everybody out. So then you have Batum playing almost the entire game, because that was a big deal with Blazer fans with Nicolas Batum playing for the French national team. It's not going to be anything like that, so I'm not worried about him getting worn down or anything from playing in the Olympics. I would love it. I would love to see Dame on the Olympic stage. I'd love to see him out there during the introductions, during the opening ceremony. He should be on the team. If he wasn't on the team, if he got cut somehow without him dropping out, that would be blasphemy. That would be ridiculous. Dame right now is the best point guard in the league. Yes, you'll probably have Steph trying to play for that team, I think. But those two are by far the top 2 point guards in the league right now. Both those guys should definitely be on the team. I think Dame is pretty guaranteed to make the team right now. If he doesn't drop out and somehow he gets cut, I'll have an epic rant for you guys. Ben C. Darling says, what do you see Nasir Little becoming for us next season? That's another tough question. Got some tough questions this week. And that's not a bad thing. That means they're really good questions. The answers just probably aren't really good. You know what I'm saying? Or I can't really figure out my opinion on it. Because what is Nasir Little going to be? I really have no idea. It depends on our roster construction. He might not get minutes next year, believe it or not. You know, Rodney Hood comes back behind Ariza at the 3, and then you have Collins, Nurkic, Whiteside brought back, and then maybe another big. Maybe it's Melo, maybe it's somebody else. Maybe we sign a Christian Wood type of guy with our mid-level exception, or a similar forward, you know, maybe a hybrid forward. Our bench right now is trash, but we could have a lot of depth next year. You could be looking at Gary Trent Jr., Rodney Hood, Hassan Whiteside, and a guy we signed with the mid-level exception for up to $10 million coming off the bench. So it's actually kind of hard to project Nasir Little going into next season. Of course, we could lose Whiteside. Of course, we could maybe make a consolidation trade. Players could get hurt, and we've seen that this year. And that was honestly the only reason Nasir Little got a chance to see the court this year. I mean, stuff could happen where he ends up getting a shot, but honestly, he might have less of a role next year than he does this year. I'm tempted to believe that, and it'll kind of suck, but I think he's going to pay dividends like 3 to 4 years from now. He's still 19, maybe just turned 20, but he's around there, so he still has a lot of time. Zacho Calipano says, what will Nurkic's role be with the bench when he gets back? This is also hard to figure out. It's been reported he won't play in back-to-back games. It's been reported that he might have a minutes restriction. I don't know what that minutes restriction would be. I assume that he could play more and more minutes as he got more accustomed to being back. In terms of the offense, I think he'll be very helpful for the bench. I think it actually kind of makes sense to bring him off the bench as we bring him back because 1, he'll be going up against lesser players. 2, he won't have as much pressure as if he was starting. And 3, we really need some offense out of that bench unit, and we really need a rim protector, you know. Whichever one of Whiteside or Nurkic comes off the bench, they're going to protect the rim. But offensively, Nurkic can kind of be that creator for the offense. You know, it's not your prototypical guard or prototypical forward out there creating stuff from the perimeter. They could run a lot of their sets where they just throw the ball to Nurkic in the high post and cut and move off of it, and he can find guys. You have some good cutters off the bench, some athletic players that could do a good job catching lobs from Nurkic, that could do a good job playing off the ball as cutters. I'm speaking primarily of Nasir Little and Anthony Simons. I mean, imagine those guys as lob targets and cutters. So I'm really intrigued to see how the bench plays with Nurkic coming back because I do assume he will come off the bench. He could be a huge help for that unit, and he could be a huge help for some of the guys on that unit that have been struggling lately. I'm just looking forward to Nurk being back, man. It's been way too long. It's been way too long. I expected him to be back by now. I expected to be talking about him right now, but that calf strain kind of put a hold on things. So I'm hoping that he's getting healthy and he can be back here in the next week or two. I'm so excited for it, man. We got to get Nurkic back. This season has not been what we expected, but Nurkic being back will bring a ton of excitement, and I'm ready to have some more Nurk fever. So anyway, that wraps up this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I mean, you guys are watching the end, so I assume you did enjoy. Leave a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. And with that being said, I'm out of here. I'll see you guys later. As always, peace out. Go Blazers.